12 reasons why is my period longer than 10 days. If on the 10th straight day of fishing for a tampon in your bag you find yourself wondering, why is my period so long? You're not alone. You probably learned in health class that the typical period comes around once a month and lasts for about 3 to 5 days. Here are reasons why is my period longer than 10 days. 1. Your weight recently changed. If you have a longer than 10-day period and you've recently gained weight, that could be an indication that you're above your ideal weight. Increased body fat leads to higher estrogen levels, which can make periods longer and heavier. 2. You're super stressed out. Stress can affect your menstrual cycle in pretty much every way possible. It can sometimes lead your period to stop altogether. But other times, it can make your period longer than 10 to 11 days, or heavier or lead to mid-cycle bleeding. If you've noticed any changes in your period during a breakup, the death of a loved one, or another stressful event, talking to a mental health professional may be helpful. 3. Your hormones are out of whack. Polycystic ovarian syndrome aka PCOS, an underactive or overactive thyroid, and other disorders that mess with your sex hormone levels can cause long, heavy, or irregular periods. If your period is abnormal, over 10 days or has changed significantly, you may want to see an endocrinologist to test for these conditions. 4. Your medication has been throwing things off. Certain medications, like thyroid medication, steroids, and antipsychotics, can also disrupt your hormone levels. If you're on any of these meds, make sure you're taking it correctly, and talk to your doctor about alternatives if the problem persists. 5. You're being exposed to environmental estrogens. Long periods says over 10 days typically occur due to a dominance of estrogen over progesterone in the body. But estrogens outside your body, like those found in plastics, pesticides, and meat with added hormones, can have the same effect. To curb the effects of environmental estrogens, eat a diet high in fiber, which prevents excess estrogen from being absorbed, and go for produce without pesticides and hormone-free and antibiotic-free meat and dairy when possible. 6. You have an IUD. One of the most common causes of long periods in younger women are intrauterine devices (IUDs), a type of birth control placed directly into your cervix. It turns out that both can cause abnormally long bleeding, especially right after insertion. Longer, heavier periods are a known side effect of the copper IUD. If the prolonged periods don't settle down after 3 cycles, it's time to go back to your doctor. 7. You're actually ovulating. Menstruation is your body's way of getting rid of the extra blood and tissue it saved up in case your egg got fertilized, but sometimes the hormonal signals get crossed and you can bleed when you release the egg too. 8. You had an early miscarriage. Early miscarriages are much more common than you may realize. Up to half of all pregnancies end in miscarriage, often before the woman even realizes she was pregnant. 9. You have thyroid issues. 1 in 8 women will suffer from low thyroid function, or hypothyroidism, at some point in their lives. Your thyroid is a little butterfly-shaped gland that controls the hormones that regulate many systems in your body, including how fast you burn calories, how fast your heart beats, and yes, menstruation. Having too little thyroid hormone can cause your period to be super long, over 10 days, and heavy. 10. Blood disorder. It's rare, but it's possible that extra long 10-day periods are a sign of an underlying illness, like a hematologic blood disease. 11. You have undiagnosed cervical cancer. Abnormal vaginal bleeding, such as bleeding after vaginal sex or bleeding and spotting between periods, can be a sign of cervical cancer. Because cervical abnormalities can be detected through Pap and HPV tests, make sure you stay on top of those, and always tell your doctor about your family history of female cancers. 12. Your body's gearing up for menopause. Oh yes, simply getting older can mess with your period. Menopause, which technically means you've gone 12 or more months without a period, hits women around age 50. However, your body starts the natural decline in hormones that leads up to menopause, aka perimenopause, as early as 35.